Hey, welcome back to Whitetail Garage. All right, so this week we're gonna start diving into the 66. Some interesting things I'll tell you about with this. So we took delivery of it in that last video that you saw. Learned a few things as I dug into the car just to see what was wrong with it. And of course, you know, all the suspension is all kinds of used and needs to be replaced. The steering had a bunch of loose and wobbly parts, so I'm going to do all new steering components, and I had to get new front coil springs because the coil springs were missing when I bought it. I have the purchase came with the complete TCI kit for front suspension, front independent suspension with motor mounts for a modular motor, which includes the Coyote, and even motor mounts for the Windsor, so 351 or 302. So I can put the V8 in here. I'm not ready to jump off and get the V8 yet, so I want to just get this thing going kind of as it was from the factory. And then I'll drive that around for a little while, and then when I'm ready to dive into the project with the suspension, then I'll sell the front end out from underneath this and put the new suspension, and probably a Coyote swap is what I'm thinking I'll do with this. So not looking to keep it like it's going to be a concourse car or anything, right? I want to keep it looking as kind of original from the outside as I can, but under the hood, I want it to be, you know, top notch, just turnkey driver with, you know, with a good 400 horsepower, which is what I can get out of a Coyote. So that's the plan right now. That being said, there's a few things, like I said, that were a little interesting about it. One, the steering was all shot, so got all the parts for that. Turns out the fuel tank is rusted out, so it's got some pinholes in it. So I got to work on that. But new tank in that box. The interesting part is that new tank is a Amazon warehouse deal. So don't forget about those warehouse deals, guys, because you can get some amazing deals. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes it's the wrong part, or it's way used and not just you know, scratch and dent. For example, one of the issues I just ran into was I got some wheel cylinders because I'm going to go ahead and do all the brakes all the way around, and this one is a warehouse deal. The problem is, it says it's the Wagner 40824, and you need the 2.4 and the 2.3 for both front end, the left and right fronts, because they are different. Well, this looks like it was packaged wrong from Dorman, because I've got two left fronts, and that one is the warehouse deal. So that's why the last customer sent it back. That's why it's in the warehouse deal. But I couldn't not try it because it ended up being a $3 part because I got a warehouse deal. So I have to send it back and get, you know, a regular priced one. I think they're like $11 normally, but you can save on a lot of stuff. So I was able to get a couple of different steering components. Some of these Moogs, I don't remember which ones, are warehouse deals, and they're just fine. This U-joint was a warehouse deal and saved a few bucks, and it's fine. So yeah, I've been able to kind of piece part it. Rear brake hose, you know, Amazon warehouse deal, and it's just an open box, but it's fine. And so don't forget to look at that, because you can save some bucks. So I don't know what this looks like yet. So this was half the price of what I could have got a tank for from CJ Pony Parts or one of those other places. It was a warehouse deal. So let's go check it out. See what condition it's in. I'm very interested. So let's take a look. Box within a box. It actually has the seal in the ring. That's the sort of stuff that's usually missing in a warehouse deal. look at that. I mean, that's it. The corners are bent down. Got the plug. That's it. Otherwise, it's perfect. Never had fuel in it. Half the price. Half the price of the others. And this is actually finished. So, the only other thing is maybe it's not, I'll double check the bolt holes, right, and make sure that it's not the right, like it's just the wrong one altogether. It looks exactly like the right one, so I suspect that it is, but I'll double check the bolt pattern, make sure that's not why somebody had an issue with it. Okay, so that fuel tank's going to be great, and so that's exactly what I was talking about with Amazon deals. It looks like all the bolt holes are correct. You know, of course, I'll find out whenever I go bolt it in, but just by the naked eye, it looks correct. So I'll have to check with once I actually drop it in. That tank has fuel in it, so I'm gonna have to drain that, get rid of it or whatever, and go from there. This is the torque arm rear suspension kit from TCI and the independent front suspension kit from TCI. So both of those are in there. There's a couple of upgrades associated with it. All that came in with the car. When I purchased the car, that was part of the purchase. So I've got, you know, all those parts here ready to go in. Like these are the front rotors and spindles, and they're Willwood four piston calipers and slotted cross drilled rotors. I mean, it's the whole package. But like I said, for now, I'm going to do just restore to get it on the road and enjoy this thing as quickly as possible. So that's all new brakes and front suspension, brakes and steering, and then anything that's bad with the front suspension replaced. So that's just about everything, with the exception of, like, I'm keeping the spindles. I'm keeping this control arm is still in great shape. It's fairly new, but I want to freshen all that up, make it look nice and clean and new. The interior is pretty good, but still has some work to do. So I'm probably going to do a full interior kit. The dash pad needs to be replaced. The seat covers need to be replaced, and seat pads definitely need to be replaced. And so there's not a whole lot of content out there for replacing, like, for example, the rear seat foam. I can't find anything, any kind of real good content on that. So, you know, definitely subscribe to the channel because that stuff will be coming up on this channel to get that interior squared away. There's also not a ton of convertible top content out there, and I do plan on replacing the convertible top, so you'll see that in this as well. For whatever reason, the last owner had taken the head bolts out, but didn't remove the head. It looked like they didn't realize that this head bolt that has the ground strap was still left. It was still torqued down. Looked like maybe they couldn't find a bolt and didn't remove it. I'm not sure why they were trying to remove it, because again, they were going to do this other setup, is my understanding, and so they were going to pull the engine. Unfortunately, they were kind of doing a hack job to get it out. I mean, like I said, they were trying to pull the cylinder head. I'm not sure why, but they cut some of the wires, like you can see right there. There is one of the harnesses that runs down that's cut. All of the engine, or all of the battery and starter solenoid and all that was cut. So I'm not sure why you hack that stuff apart. Even if you don't need it, you still take it apart correctly and set it aside. So that's frustrating. I gotta rebuild those harnesses. Not the end of the world. The fact that they took the cylinder head bolts out worries me a bit. But right now I've got easy, normal rotation. I've got no slack in the pistons. Cylinder walls look good. In fact, it looks like this engine's probably been rebuilt somewhat recently in the lifetime of this car. The valve springs, for example, look pretty new. So maybe it's had a head job on it at some point. Or hopefully maybe the whole thing was rebuilt. So the next step plans for this, given that the cylinder head was already taken off anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pull the engine. I'm going to go ahead and go through it, make sure that there's no surprises in there, and then just freshen it up with at least a gasket set. I may do some bearings, depending on what I see. But then get it painted and ready to put back in. The battery tray in this corner, as you can see, is all rusted out. So I've got the replacement panel there to weld that in. So we'll be doing that body work. And I've got over there somewhere is a battery tray. So we'll get the battery tray in there and get all that cleaned up. That'll, with the engine out, I'll be able to prep and paint the engine compartment correctly and get all that nice and pretty. Then put the engine back in and do interior and top after that. So that's kind of the plan. If you're into classic restoration, 66 Mustang Convertible, come along for the ride. So stay tuned. The build is going to keep on going. We got a bunch to do on the car. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to be able to drive this thing. We're building it for my wife, by the way. And so, yeah, we'll end it there. Thanks for watching.